I don't know, this is weird, but I totally respect the sport and what this is.
Tears. I didn't expect to feel this at a rodeo, but something here broke me. Welcome to the real Fortworth Stock Show and Rodeo. The grit, the tradition, the joy, and yes, the pain. This isn't just bull riding and barreling races. There are moments and tears I never saw coming. Whether this is or isn't your first rodeo, stick with me to the end, cause the story of a kid that made us cry all over again.
Are you ready? To the best of the LAST Rodeo, the Brown Ranch.
A visit to explore Fort Worth, Texas is not completed without a traditional local rodeo. And yes, this was definitely my first rodeo. Come see the details explained on how it works and all the feels that came attached with it. This arena isn't just another stadium, it's the soul of Fort Worth. The very first stock show and rodeo started way back in 1896. Fast forward over a century and today it draws over 1 million people every year. The Will Rogers Coliseum, built in 1936, stood for decades as the rodeo's home, a true Art Deco landmark. And in 2019, the tradition expanded with Dickies Arena, bigger, bolder, but still built with the same dirt, the same chutes, and the same heartbeat. And even though I was away from Disney where I work, of course I found a character meet and greet experience. So dinner tonight, right before the rodeo, is some brisket and fries. Let's see how this will go. And so the countdown for the grand event begins. Rodeo isn't your typical bull riding or barrel racing. Ranch rodeos are designed to show the everyday skills real working cowboys use out on the ranch. Things like roping, branding, sorting cattle, even loading them into trailers can be included. So I'm gonna explain step by step what happens here.
Are you ready? You're absolutely beautiful, Fortworth. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Instead of competing as individuals, ranch hands from teams from actual Texas ranches, and they work together just like they would back home. It's less about showmanship and more about authenticity, proving who can get the job done the fastest and most skillfully. Quite interesting. This is gonna be a full circle from learning about roping in our first episode, sleeping on a winery, and learning all about this with Tina, our winery host. Now this definitely had a grand start.
Ladies and gentlemen, we respect our...
This part honestly gave me the chills. The energy in the arena was electric. You could feel the excitement vibrating through the crowd as the cowboys and cowgirls rode on their horses. Definitely a traditional presentation with each team introduced in full. And there's a kind of hierarchy on display too. The way people are dressed, the customs, the pride in how each team presents itself. Horses zigzagging, flags flying, and the arena absolutely buzzing. It's not just an entrance, it's a statement. The rodeo hasn't even started yet, but you already feel you're part of something powerful.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still together. Let's welcome to my team.
Cheers.
Ladies in the elevator parade.
Before we get started, there is a last alignment of all the different ranches and each player that are making up that team, and then let the games begin. When we first came in, I had no clue what the difference of a rodeo and a ranch rodeo was. I was expecting cowboys balancing on top of bulls and counting down the time until they hit the ground. So for this impactful first game, the cowboys had to get the cow on the ground. And by that, they had to lasso its head and its legs and forcefully put it down on the ground and count how fast they were able to do that.
Well, actually, on top of that, they had to tie the poor animals' back legs and front legs, and I get emotional just remember the feeling I had in the rodeo and how bad I felt for these poor animals being treated like that. That quickly turns out into how much I did not like being there and supporting the sport. And honestly, at that moment, right in the beginning of the rodeo, I decided I didn't want to do this anymore and I needed a break and walk away. So I don't know, this is weird, but I totally respect the sport and what this is. But of course, this is my first experience with this, and I feel bad for the cows. Like, this is stupid, but I feel bad for the poor animals. I was expecting, they trying to balance on top of it and whatever. I feel so bad for them, like lassoing them and putting them on the ground. Ugh. But let's go back there and let's watch it.
When I recorded this, I was feeling really silly for feeling bad. But nowadays I look back and I respect my feelings and what I felt for the animal. To be honest, I was quite nervous deciding how I was gonna edit and share this episode, but I think it's honesty. It's about how we individually experience things, and also being open to learn about the sport and then decide if it is or it is not for you. Gail later mentioned to me, since this was not her first rodeo, that she also felt the same way when she first saw something like this. But since we were already there, I was kind of curious on what the other sports were, and we decided if it was gonna be the same thing that we were just gonna walk away. But we quite learned a lot by staying in and watching the other games, but this definitely will never get my support again. I'm not sure what your opinion or your views are. Actually, I'm curious. How do you feel about these animals? Let me know in the comments of the video if you feel like me too. Or terrified to see what the next game was gonna bring. But that was the decision maker. The game that was gonna make us stay or run away from a rodeo. Well, actually who is running is this group of kids. In a calf scramble, the goal is simple: to catch one. It's a real chaotic tradition at a rodeo. They run around the same time as the calves are running around, and the one who can catch one and bring it inside the square first normally wins money towards raising their own livestock or a scholarship. Yeah, I was also not quite sure how I felt about this one. But as quickly as that game started, they erased everything and we moved on to the next. Next up is stock sorting, and this one is all about teamwork and precision. First, they organize the cattle all in the same corner, and then they let the team, the ones you see in the blue shirt, start the game. These riders have to move cattle from one pen to another in a very specific order, based on the numbers marked on each animal. Sounds simple, but it's fast-paced chaos. The cows don't exactly want to cooperate, and to be honest, I kinda love that. And the clock is always ticking. It shows off real ranch skills, communication, control, and keeping cool under pressure.
Amiga, we like stock sorting. I love that, right? This one's fun.
Alright, this was a lot more doable to watch, and now it was time for double mugging. At this point, we're just curious to see what each game was. Double mugging is one of the rodeo's timed events that really shows teamwork and skill. Two riders work together to control a single steer. One rider mugs the steer, turning and holding it while the other ropes it. It's all about precision, coordination, and timing. The fastest and smoothest team wins, and watching this live was again intense. Every second counts, and I was literally about to walk out of this arena again. Not my type of game. Each of these rounds of different games, they were computing the points for each ranch. And this is how they raised their money through the competition as well. But for the audience, it was time to wait for parachute prizes to literally fall from the roof. Quite entertaining customs they have around here. Now we're getting closer to a little bit more of what I expect seeing in a rodeo. Next up is ranch bronc riding, a true test of grit and skill. Unlike professional rodeos where riders compete on a set pattern, ranch bronc riding mimics what cowboys do on the ranch, riding a bucking horse to break it in or move it safely. Riders have to hold on with one hand, balance with their body, and try to stay on for at least 8 seconds while keeping style points in mind. It's raw, challenging, and every ride is different. And yet another unexpected part of this rodeo. Here's mutton busting, the cutest, wildest rodeo events for kids. Little ones hop on the back of a sheep and try to hold on as long as they can while it bucks and twists. It's short, chaotic, and it's absolutely adorable. But don't let the size fool you. These kids are serious about staying on. Everyone cheers, laughs, and the energy is contagious. But there was a story around the corner that we didn't expect to hear tonight.
I wasn't expecting a transformative life lesson for a little boy that was riding a ship. And here's a warning, because this story is gonna break you too.
This young man woke up one morning and he was not able to feel his hands or his legs. A couple days later, he was diagnosed with idiopathic transverse myelitis. For 23 days, he couldn't walk. His parents would pull him around the hospital in a wagon. Every single day, he would watch rodeo. One of those days, he said, "Dad, I want to get out of this wagon because I learned from watching rodeo that cowboys are tough, and I need to be tough." It was that day that he walked again. It was that day that he decided to live again. And on this day, not only is he walking, Not only is he a walking miracle from the good Lord above, but he is your champion mutton buster. What are you going to tell Isaac Miller? So he wins the trophy, he wins the buckle, the $500 check from our partners at Cross Bank. But Isaac, I want to talk to you just for a second. You came all the way from Pennsylvania to ride this sheep at one of the most legendary rodeo in the world. Was it pretty fun? Do you want to do it again?
Yes.
Do you want to ride a bull next?
Yes.
Do you want to ride a horse next?
No.
Or just sheep and bulls, that's your limit? Okay, Isaac, so we're pretty inspired by your story. We're thankful that you're here with us because your toughness inspires every single one of us. Because there's no greater champion in life than a youngster who has fought the battle and has won. And so right now, that buckle not only signifies that you're a champion, but it signifies to these people when you raise it up above your head, it's time for them to get on their feet and give you the champion's ovation that you deserve. So Fortworth.
If that didn't inspire you, I don't know what else will. But we still have a couple of games to go through. Ranch Girls Barrel Race was one of the fun ones. And the next one, I actually should have deleted from this video. But Ranch Girls Barrel Race is a fast-paced race where young women riders race their horses around the cloverleaf pattern of barrels. It's all about speed, precision, and tight turns. One wrong move and they lose precious seconds, so every run is intense and exciting. Watching them maneuver with skill and confidence shows just how talented these riders are. Interesting was to see that just like in a hockey game, in between some plays they come and straighten up the ice, they were also coming and straightening up the dirt in between some of these races. Last game, I guess I'm done. The name, Wild Cow Milking. Yep, you heard that right. The goal, to grab a running cow, milk it into a bottle, and race back. Honestly, I was completely disgusted when I first saw this. Who would even thought of treating an animal that way? Like, who thought this was a good idea? I was shocked and honestly angry watching what this game entailed. I kept thinking there has to be a better, less chaotic, and a little more respectful way to test skills like this. It felt completely unnecessary, and part of me couldn't believe this was considered entertainment. But that's the rodeo for you, a tradition that can be wild, strange, and sometimes infuriating all at once. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's a sport, but this was my blunt and most honest opinion. This level of disrespect to the animals, I cannot understand. Let me know in the comments below if you ever been to a rodeo before and what did you think after watching this.
So that was something. We'll talk more about it.
As this rodeo came to an end, I realized this was a very traditional way to finish the season. A mix of grit, skill, chaos, and community all rolled into one. But I have to be honest, I completely changed my perspective of what rodeo was. I came expecting just bull riding and cowboys, and I left with a mixed story of teamwork, traditions, and some questionable events. This was my first rodeo and probably my last. Now it was time to pack up, say goodbye to the van, and fly back home with memories from Texas I'll never forget. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us in the season, and stay tuned because next Sunday we'll have a full movie recapping the season. I can't wait to see you there.
Just finished packing everything, and it was a bunch of packing and unpacking and trying to make everything fit and cleaning the van, putting things back in place. And right now it is, what time is it right now, Gail?
12:30.
It is 12:30, and at 4:30 we need to be out of here. So let's try to get a nap so we can make it to return the van. So sad that's return the van time. And head to the airport. I'll see you then.